Welcome, everybody, to this edition of Attention Talk Video. I'm your host, ADHD and Attention Coach Jeff Copper, and I'm here with a great opportunity here. Number one, I want to honor Duane Gordon. He is one of the greatest ADHD assets in the ADHD community. He's been volunteering, been doing lots of work, the head of the Attention Deficit Disorder Association, and really a thought leader. So, Duane, welcome to the show, and thank you for what you do.
Well, thank you, Jeff. And I do want to point out, as you know, I don't do it alone. There's a huge team behind me. I just happen to be the face, but there's a lot of people working hard to make ADA and to make the ADHD community better. So
we're here today to talk about ADHD support team, and I'm telling everybody. And this was really born by a TAD talk that Duane did for the Attention Deficit Disorder Association in October during ADHD Awareness Month. And you were talking about people with ADHD need a support team. And in that, you shared kind of an interesting little thing related to you that I think is powerful. Can you share with us your thoughts on this?
Absolutely. I mean, we all know ADHD requires a support team, and we often think, oh, well, you probably need, a doctor, you need a psychologist or a psychiatrist, you need a coach,
Yep.
and you do. That's absolutely true. But ADHD is something that doesn't live alone. And from my personal experience, the thing that really related to this for me is my nephew is blind. Well, at his house there, and he's amazingly accomplished, and he's a sound engineer now and all this stuff. But at his house, there are rules. Nobody gets to move the furniture. Even though there's only one blind person there, the furniture stays where it is because we know that that's going to be a problem for him if it randomly changes places. And ADHD is a lot like that. And I'm sure you've had this, you've heard this before. There are many people with ADHD, and particularly if they're diagnosed later in life, whose partner will say to them, well, okay, so you've got ADHD, go fix that. And, we'll carry on over here and you can join us again once it's fixed. And of course, it doesn't work like that, right? ADHD is a part of you, and it is a part of the way that you live. And therefore, your environment has to adapt to it. So if other people go around changing the environment, then you're going to have a real problem, right? We had our kitchen remodeled. Well, one of the things, I have ADHD, my daughter has ADHD. Of course, we struggle with memory, especially short-term memory. So when we had our kitchen remodeled and we took it all out, and then we put back brand new cupboards all in different places and so on, and then we started putting stuff away, neither me nor my daughter could find anything anymore, right? And people would put it back in different places at different times. So the plates were here one day, and then, somebody decided that they should go in a different place. And so we went with yellow Post-it notes on all of the cupboards about what was supposed to be in there. And we put those up, and they stayed for a month so that everybody got used to where things go so that they wouldn't be randomly moved. Right. So when I'm talking about nobody gets to move the furniture, it's things like that. Now, you brought up an interesting point earlier. And this is very, very true. You also, as the person with ADHD in the house, you don't get to say, oh, well, I've got ADHD, there's nothing I can do, and you just have to put up with me, love me the way I am, or not at all.
Yes.
Well, that's not fair. ADHD is a thing, and it changes the way that you live. And when you have to live in a way that's a little different from the way that society normally functions, there's some compromises to do. There's some changes. Yes, they'll have to make some changes, but so will you. We to live together, we compromise. And there are a lot of compromises in society, but bring it all the way down to the household, there are compromises too. It's your ADHD. Yes, it's a reason, but it's not an excuse.
And so the very well articulated, and the point that I want to kind of drive home, and I'm kind of reading off of the quote from your TED Talk, is that, I often hear people say the partner told me that ADHD my problem and I need to go fix it. And you said that's not how it works. When someone in the home has ADHD, you are in an ADHD family. Now your nephew is blind and you're in a blind family and you have to work together. And so you can't just rearrange the furniture. You just can't move the dishes and expect that to happen. And so on the other side of it, if you have ADHD, you can't use it as an excuse. You've got to do your part in this. And the reason I thought this was so brilliant, Duane, is when you can articulate something in a way that's not quite direct and bring it back. The example of your nephew is really perfect, because if you have ADHD, you are in an ADHD family and people just can't randomly do some stuff. It's not your problem to fix. However, you've got to take your part of it. And I'm hoping that this will give people out there language out there to begin to put this in perspective so that they can begin to have conversations, so we can bring people together instead of them fighting, just saying that's your problem. So just brilliant. Any other thoughts before we wrap this up?
No, that's absolutely fantastic. Although I will add one thing to everybody needs a support team. You also need your peers.
Yes.
You need to hang around with other adults with ADHD at least some of the time. And a great way to do that is at ADD.org.
And so I don't normally do this, but I am going to. He's an incredible thought leader. He's been brilliant in transforming ADA. Yes, he's got a team that supports him, but he built it. But one of the cool things is you've developed online support groups that are just not ADHD, but there's niches, men, LGBTQ, different areas, transgender. There's all kinds of communities that are really kind of coming together. And when you're really out there, it's so much better to be in support groups, to learn from each other. And again, I started this off by saying Duane is incredible ADHD asset for the community and thought leader. And what he said is there. And so they can learn more about the support groups at our webpage, correct?
Yes, absolutely. They're all listed there, and they're accessible for everyone because it's all remote. We actually have members now actively participating from all the continents in the world.
And the website is ADD.org. So with that, if you're a new subscriber, if you're a new listener, please subscribe to our channel. If you're an existing subscriber, what do you think? Do you like the language here? Will it help you kind of articulate to other people? Also, we do what we do for you. So if you hit the thanks button, we certainly appreciate it. So thank you, Duane, for coming on. And we hope you've enjoyed this edition of Attention Talk Video. Take care.